herbs, whole peppercorn. What I'm gonna do is cover this and throw this in the oven and forget about it for a little bit. You know, I avoid the salt and pepper for now. And if you ask your butcher if they'll cut a bone, they'll cut it right down the middle for you, right? So there we go. And I have these herbs in here so that they can keep all this company as it comes up to room temperature. As we have to reduce a sauce, there's a lot of things that we have to do before this is even ready to cook. But let's start getting some of that flavor in there now. The situation's gonna be different. I'm just gonna make a compress with these two elements here, yeah? And that should be nice when it's time to reverse sear them. It's like when we're cutting against the grain with a cut of meat. So you cut this way, counterintuitively with a shallot. That way you're able to easily pull the outside off immediately without spending too much time peeling. And then it makes for a much easier slice, dice, whatever technique comes next. When I am cutting onions, I position myself so that I have a stream of air, whether created by a fan or through this strong air conditioning vent, so it blows the enzymes past my eyes and I don't cry when I'm cutting them. But I always include a little bit of like the outside of the onions and the garlic because I want a little bit of earthiness in there. Really, that's part of the things when people taste my food that they're like, wow, there is something really authentic about this. There's a huge misconception about that you have to be all or nothing, right? I mean, this prime steak probably isn't the most healthy thing in the world, but that doesn't mean that you can't balance it with vibrant colors and really exciting fresh food. It's good to have transferable skills, like knowing how to use an old-fashioned can opener, right? And as that's reducing, we're gonna add about half the volume of the stock that we're making to wine. Try not to dislocate your shoulder, right? Go. And any old bread will do. The drier the better, right? Yeah. And then we're gonna have that alcohol burn off, and then that's what's gonna give us our flavor. Shall introduce just the tiniest of bitterness. Right. Umami flavor with the mushrooms, which are gonna go right inside of this rich reduction that we have going here, right? But I wanted to marry a lot of these flavors together before we keep moving on to next steps. But the good news is we can let this sit for a while. Again, our proteins are getting to room temperature. It's been about an hour, so they should be good to go. Actually, I'll show you something that shows me if it's been long enough. I'm gonna show you how the marrow can bleed. Okay, if I still have your attention, we wanna see some weeping marrow here. So I made a compress, right? And let's take a look here. Oh, there we go, yeah, see? That's exactly what I was looking for. Oh, what a nice specimen. This was freshly cut today. I made a compress, like I said, with these fresh herbs. That's gonna be so delicious and add such a velvety richness to the reduction I'm already working on. This is gonna be fabulous. So curiously enough, I took some of the carrot's hair, right? Because I want the flavor of a mirepoix, and that's not the way that I started this out, but I'm hoping that some of those elements still come together, right? So we're trying to be time efficient. Like I said, I'm building furniture, I just arrived. I can experiment because I'm the only person cooking for the only person eating. These are blistered, that's gonna be great. They're gonna get a little toasty when I'm done with them, but we're gonna start reducing this again. And we're gonna add some more wine, and we're really gonna concentrate the flavor in. Why do a reduction instead of, well, because I want to really make this very sharp, the flavor, very flavorful, very intense, very earthy. I'm not going to whip these potatoes because I don't have the equipment to do it. Usually I would put parsnips whipped with fennel and mixed potatoes. That gives it kind of an earthy flavor. And the tomatoes would be on top there to give it a burst of acid and richness. But we're gonna do things differently because I don't have the time so here's the reduction that we're working on. All of this is going to be strained out, and that delicious richness is gonna go right in here. We have our marrow bone in there, and it's gonna leak in and flavor all of this. It's 400 degrees, there's the bone marrow. And then on top of that, we're going to strain this right into it, and it's gonna have a very nice rich broth. These are the tomato stems from the tomatoes that we have in the oven. Again, add some earthiness. So I'm just going to strain this instead of through a chamois, just through this dollar store thing into my French press. That's where all the flavor came from. And what we have left is a rich, delicious, velvety. Oh, this is gonna be so good on those fresh veggies. And because it's a French press, the whisper of coffee perfectly complements this. I'm discovering things by scarcity that I never knew was possible. Round two of this pan will come after this, after these vegetables are ready and after our tenderloin is reverse seared inside the oven at a lower temperature. That's also in the middle when our freshly baked French bread will come into play with our charcuterie. So I think we got a lot of that flavor locked in there now. That buys us some time. The juices have gone and permeated our vegetables here. So although all these vegetables grew up together in the same roasting dish, the reason I keep them separate is because these tomatoes are flavor bombs. Look at, they're blistered and they're dehydrated and super sweet and tart and add a nice acidity. The carrots, again, have this blended flavor from how they were prepared, but they bring a richness. And of course the potatoes. And see, here they are with herbs that I intentionally dried in there so they'll be more palatable when we rehydrate them just a little bit with this super rich broth that I talked about before, right? But we're actually going to set this in the oven for a little bit and just let it relax because we're going to get the oven to a nice temperature that we can reverse sear that tenderloin that's going to be part of this. I'm really excited about this salami because you can see it's got just the right proportion of fat, and you can see that we've got the sweet fennel in there. This is going to be so good. Cotton Bell boxcar. That's a triple cream ripened cheese, and it's got a lot of earthiness to it. This is a smoky blue from Rogue out of Oregon. And this is Comté, all right? And then we've got the Harmon's bread here that I'm so excited about. And then what I actually used for the Cotton Bell here is the same ramekin to melt the local raw honey. So that brought everything to a nice temperature. I can't wait to dig in. I think it's only appropriate that I do serve the raw local honey with the smoked blue cheese from Rogue Creamery in Washington. The reason I think so is it was named after Smokey the Bear, and naturally bears like honey, so there you go. At the end of the day, that's what all that fuss was about. There's a tenderloin hiding in there. So much flavor right in there. That's, see? That's what we want. So this goes on the bread there.